Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. And salutations to the sincere Akim and Akwath and may listen. May the blessing of election be over your house. My name is Brother Okwai. I'm back in here with another video. And today's video is just I didn't really have much of a title of what to name this sort of lesson in what category, but it's just an experience that I had a few days ago, and I'm just going to extrapolate some of the bits and pieces from the story and kind of look at the situation spiritually and share that in hopes that this experience that I had was is edifying, right? So I just put up a brief title here saying bewaring of false fruits, right? So a lot of these false leaders that are set up in our that are amongst our people, right? And so essentially, the story was I was at the barbershop, and going, and then the barbershop, I'm there, listening to the conversation, other men are talking, Israelite men, they're talking, and they're calling out a lot of this behavior. And one of the men, he expressed a concern, saying that a lot of these pastors keep inviting them to come to the church and so on and so forth. And, they're realizing, and they're now starting to notice that a lot of these Israelite pastors that are in the church are complete hypocrites, right? Because, they're not actually, practicing, what they preach. And they're realizing that, the institution of the Catholic Church, the pastors are, a lot of these, especially like, Israelite pastors, whether, it's in denominations such as like it's Baptist or Seventh-day Adventists. I believe this one was Seventh-day Adventist, and I think they have this belief that that the Sabbath is always on a Friday to Saturday, right? So already that's going off, because the Sabbath is according to the new moon. But not to get too off topic, they're realizing that a lot of these pastors are complete, are A, they're full of themselves, and B, they don't actually practice what they preach. They're just a bunch of hypocrites, constantly preying on the people, right? And I just wanted to bring that up because they're just they're leaving the congregation out of all of these different they're not giving them the understanding. They're not giving them true understanding, And before I left, I ended up writing down the page, of the apostles, the milk channel, and I gave him my contact if he ever had any questions, right? Because his spirit, it seemed like he was, he needed some understanding, right? So just going back to a lot of these things that that they go through, it's just very interesting to look at all of these situations spiritually, because Jake is looking constantly for answers, but they're looking in a lot of these places, and a lot of these places that they are looking is not feeding them with proper spiritual understanding, right? They charge all these crazy amount of fees, and they take a lot of their hard-earned money, right? But I just want to get a couple precepts in regards to this sort of situation, right? So okay, so this is Matthew 7 verse 15, and Yahushua said, "Be aware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, right? So this is the kind of character that a lot of these, people in the church, especially in the Catholic Church, represent. And this one in particular, the young man, he noticed that the pastor that invited him to come to the church, they realized that the pastor will be sleeping with a lot of these women in the congregation, and then a lot of these women are married or so on and so forth. There's always some kind of underlying drama going on. It's kind of like one of those Tyler Perry movies with all the stereotypes, especially there's always an older Jake woman, a Jake man, and there's always there's always a church in the picture, and they're trying to seek understanding, and it's always some kind of comedy. It never is anything giving some sort of edification, so to speak. It's never ever about edification. It's always some big joke, right? Like this is what the Catholic Church is, and really and truly it is a big joke, because there's no spirituality understanding there, right? As a matter of fact, let me just get another quick precept, right? Because this is something that character of how the true men of the Lord would speak. Seasoned. Okay, so this is Colossians 4:6, and it reads, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how to ought to answer every man. Right, so let your speech be seasoned with salt, and salt is something that gives flavor, right? But when a lot of these pastors and preachers they speak, it's with smooth words, to comfort our people. It's not actually giving them the edification and clothing that they really need, right? So this is some of the things that the elect will do. They would actually try and give our people the real spiritual understanding, and they wouldn't be charging for it either, because Jake's already in a very, very poor state anyway, right? All these nations are preying upon us, and they we spend a lot of our money, we give a lot of our money, especially in the Catholic Church. Like, for example, there was that article that came out of a preacher. I don't remember his name, but he was like this preacher that's balling, and he has all these chains. I think he got robbed like $1 million. He had like $1 million worth of jewelry on him, and he got robbed. I think his name was wow, his name escapes me, Salakia. Lamar Whitehead, I believe his name is. Yeah, he was a preacher in the States, and he was brought up on all these different charges and all this kinds of stuff. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, this is the state of our people, and we're spending all this money, on all these different things, and it profits very little to nothing at all, right? Before I get the next precept, I just wanted to get another precept to back up the point, because Jake normally goes towards all these different avenues, to look for understanding, and we don't get it, right? So that's part of the curses. No, this is not it. Okay, so this is Deuteronomy 28 verse 48, and so it says, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, right? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. So, this can also refers to the hunger, also refers to that spiritual food as well, that that Jake is normally that Jake needs, right, to sustain themselves, to be able to give them some sort of direction, and to be able to make them to satiate their spirit, right, because they're empty, they're famished, right. Let's go into the word. Hang on. Let's look up with the word famished, right? Famished. That's one of the reasons that Jake gets a lot. Israelites get into the entertainment business, because it's we're looking for a way. One of my favorite songs that I listen to is called 24th Birthday by a rapper named Santan Dave, or Dave. He's like a British rapper, and throughout the song, if you ever listen to it, he's spilling the beans about all these different things that he has acquired, but he still feels lacking in some sort of way, right? Let's hang on, not to go too off topic. Okay, so famish, to cause to hunger, alteration of famine, to bring to hunger, famine, starvation, hunger, starvation, famine. So the key point here is in hunger. Yeah, so Jake is, Israel, our people are hungry, right? Like in the situation that I was just sharing, that our people were hungry, and they're looking for something to want to spiritually feed them, right, and give them that understanding, right? So so just to bounce to my next precept, this is one of my favorite precepts, because it just shows, like, the magnitude and how wonderful the truth is, and it just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. So this is Isaiah 55 verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye buy and eat. Yeah, come buy wine and milk without money, Salakia, and without price. Verse 2. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread? So it's a question. It's asking, our people, why do we spend money on things, whether it's, all these luxury brands, and that's a waste of time anyway, because, like, if you really look at it, a lot of the information that's coming out, in regards to a lot of these luxury brands, these brands they have a very satanic vibration tied to it, with all this Balenciaga information coming out. Now, I just literally read an article earlier today that it was about Gucci, and there's a musician named Harry Styles, and he was in the media, and he posed, he was, I think they were debuting some kind of new product, and the product, he had on like this I think it was like kind of like a children's t-shirt, or a children's image on a t-shirt, and then they had like a toddler's bed, and it's just insinuating all this different, like, pedophilia. This is the kind of vibration that they're giving off, right? So a brand like Gucci, like, why is Gucci trying to promote, an older man, he's probably in his 30s or so on and so forth, and he's posing with a toddler's bed? Like, what is being implied here? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, these are the things that Jay shouldn't even be, like, spending money. He's supposed to spend, in this money, and invest in the truth, right? This is where you really get satiated, right? Because it says in Wisdom of Solomon, 6 and 13, she prevented them that desire her, right? Because it can help you even, it can help you prolong your life and even save your life, right? Especially from the, hour of temptation, right? Which is that MOTB, right? And all these different wiles of the devil that he's trying to throw us, throw at us, you know. So and these are the things as well that these congregations are not exposing to Jake. They're not exposing to their their people, right? They're deceiving them, you know. To finish off, verse 2: wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfy not? Right? So a lot of the activities in like I'm just going to use the Catholic Church as an example. They like to try and get, what's it called, get together with their community and all this kinds of stuff. I know there's a god, there's a god of the community. I forgot what it's called. I think it's Baal Yathas, something like that, which is another that spirit that Jake is always in when it comes to the community. That's another that's tied to another god as well, right? Where was I going with this? Salakia. And and your labor for which satisfy not, right? So yeah, these are the things that they our Jakes like to invest in and spend their time in, and then they realize it's not benefiting them in any sort of way, right? So really and truly, we have to come back to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and have him be that rod, right? And have him be that that spirit that's going to fill us, that's going to fill up our bellies spiritually, right? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye which is good, and let your soul delight in fatness, right? So let your soul, let your soul be filled with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? And start to exemplify a lot of those character traits that Yahweh Shai practiced, right? Get more into the stories, right? And because a lot of the things that are written before our time are written for our learning, right? When you learn more about our forefathers, but a lot of these things, all these different denominations, whether it's in Christianity or Islam and so on and so forth, they're not exposing to our people, right? Going back to the title, there are false fruits, right? Because they're deceiving you, right? This is the last precept. I don't want to make this video too long, but hopefully this is edifying. So this is Jeremiah 3 verse 15, and it reads, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And all that comes from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, with our elders, teachers, on down, feeding us the true name of the Lord, his son Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and giving us that knowledge and understanding, right? So anyways, and then just another point as well, the word pastor goes back to the word pasture. So a place where animals and like cows and sheep like to graze. That's something I commonly used to see a lot in the islands as well. You just see the sheep grazing on the pasture, right? Which is also spiritual, because our people are referred to as sheep, but a lot of us are lost, right? So anyways, I will end it off here, but hopefully this quick lesson, something that I just experienced, recently. I just wanted to bring that out and, share it with, you brothers and few sisters that may listen. And I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Lakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.